I let it go. I open my heart, my body, my soul. I step into the flow and then I let it go. I open my heart, my body, my soul. I surrender. I surrender.
Morning tribe, here we are, day 3, and really excited about today as always, of course. And this morning we're going to be led by the lovely Anita, who works down in the garden here. And Anita, how's the garden associated with the festival?
Years ago, Rupert got in touch because he'd come to go to the festival, realised there was a lot of potential here for extending things and permaculture and everything. And so we started doing workshops, and he brought in various guests and so on. And it's grown from there, and it just partners so well with the property.
Oh,
and
that's so great.
With our ideology, I guess, you know.
Yeah.
Organic food, nutrient-dense food. You know, if we're going to supply any kitchens here, it ought to be the best. Why not? And so we became certified organic. And then we moved on to becoming Demeter Biodynamic certified, which is really the Rolls Royce of organic farming.
It's like next level.
Yeah, they say, you know.
So you've had a few workshops here in the past, and we had Tiego's workshop yesterday, and you're going to be running one for the first part of today. And what are you doing?
Yes, so everyone's going to be jumping around in mud and water and straw, and they're going to be making a BD compost heap.
Right.
So it's not one that we will turn. It's something that'll be in sight, in place, and it'll stay like that for months. And we just keep taking from it. It's creating colloidal compost, you know,
right.
and good humus. I was going to say hummus, but humus.
Yeah.
You could probably eat it too.
We could have some hummus later.
Yes, we could.
Yeah.
So that's the idea today. I'll talk briefly about what we're doing. It's based on Rudolf Steiner's philosophies and how it developed in Australia, because obviously that was another part of the world where it wasn't appropriate to our climate and everything, and another hemisphere. So I'll touch on that, and then we'll all get out there with our bathtub and our straw and everything and leap around.
Sun in the sky, sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Birds flying high. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. Birds flying high.
And it's so true. You know, as long as we're putting our love into it, we're always doing it that way.
me tell you how I feel. You have given me so much treasure. I love you so. I honor what you know.
Rain song, bring in the rain.
Wow, we called it in. Look at this.
Caught in the rain.
Thank you.
Hey guys, I've got Aaron here and I've just pulled him aside because we've come off the morning session of the composting, and I wanted to ask you, Aaron, like, you've got a background in landscaping, right? Do you normally use composting in an everyday, what you do for work?
Yeah, so when we're doing planting and things like that, we usually get a delivery from my supplier, but nothing like what we did today, actually making the compost from scratch, and beautiful experience.
And how did it feel for you to get in there and actually learn how compost is made?
Oh, it was beautiful. Good to get your hands dirty, learn about the nitrogen, the carbon, adding some lime to change the pH levels, things like that. Not what you usually learn when you're out in Melbourne.
Yeah. And so, you know, if you were growing a garden at home, do you think like using this information is going to be beneficial for you?
100%. Yeah, 100%.
Nice.
Good to actually understand it so that you can then apply it based on what your circumstances are.
Nice. And what's one thing that you took away from learning about biodynamics?
Biodynamics I found very interesting.
Right.
We didn't go get into too much details about that, but you know, showing us the calendar of when to do planting and things like that, syncing it with the moon, I found all of that very interesting.
Yeah, great. That's right. And biodynamics is such a vast topic, you know, that covers, you know, a solar system of possibilities. And what happened today was so special for the participants was a short little drop on how the moon can affect our planting and how it affects the trees as well. And if the moon does that, if the moon can affect the tide and the saps in the tree, then what do the other planets do? We'll leave that question with you.
Great this morning. How are you doing?
Yeah, really good. Yeah. We've got Annalise here, who's one of the facilitators on the course this week, and I pulled her aside because we're in the lovely community garden here that provides food for Ivory Rock and also for the course this week. And Annalise is a permaculture person, a plant person, and loves the abundance and the diversity that's here. And so she's going to take you for a little walk through the garden and give you that drop on what's good and what's growing here. So, Annalise, would you like to share with our viewers
the abundance
that's here?
Because you can look out and see over the greens and think, well, you know, there's a lot of mixed. You could kind of miss what's actually here, but if we stop and I just introduce you to some of the plants that are here. This is ginger. So this is growing with an oxalis understory, which is quite a nice lemony leaf here. If we come through, we've also got a nice mulched ground cover. Through there we've also got mustard seeds that are naturally coming up, and also tomatoes that you can see those little yellow flowers. Beautiful amaranth grain. So this is a grain, you can eat the leaves here as well. There's a mix of rocket in here. And if we come across this side over here, here's turmeric growing, and this will lose its leaves soon with the winter time, but we've got a nice turmeric crop there. Here's some rocket that's growing on site next to it. And if we swing over to here, we've got some nice radishes coming up. Looks like a couple of different varieties. This looks like a daikon radish just in here. And then we've got a redder radish down the back there. There's so many different varieties of radishes. I'm not sure what's here, but these are great. You can also eat the leaves as well as the roots. We've got the tail end of some Egyptian spinach, a really nice mucilaginous leaf, great for salads. And the rocket looks like it's flowering here, so these are edible flowers that also bring in beneficial insects. And we've got some peas that are coming up on these easy to make trellises. See how they've used, looks like just locally available materials of different kinds there. Snow peas. Then coming around is the great insectary with these beautiful flowers, the amaranths that are bringing in beneficial insects. So these are going to help to create the control of any of the sap sucking or the chewing insects that otherwise might destroy some of your crops. And then there's a grape arbor that's just going down now into winter time. And here I asked what variety of pumpkins these are. Turned out they'd just kind of sprung up on their own. But check out these guys.
Ooh, nearly need 2 people to lift that one.
That's it. And what's awesome is that you can eat them when they're younger, you can eat them when they're more mature, you can eat the flower, you can eat that portion there, and even by pulling off that amount of that greenery, so that's a local green that you can throw into your stir fries, your massaman curries, you're also then encouraging that to fruit more because you're slightly stressing the plant. Come and check out a few more over here. These raised garden beds are just full of lettuces. They've also got mustards in here, and so they're so densely planted that there's no room for weeds. There's also, looks like some other kind of great flowering plants in here, some chia, more amaranth through here. And look at this load of leeks and sunflowers, mints. And these are all edible leaves as well too. Edible flowers, bringing in the best beneficial insects. And over here, tomatoes. Little tiny tomatoes in here. Little sweet guys. As the understory by the overstory here of pumpkin, and then papaya coming up the top here too. And the last bed I'll show you just over here, we've got some protection from the sun with some really nice oregano. Check out that oregano mixed with mint, tomato, fennel, rocket, another variety of mint, and all these flowers here bringing in the beneficial insects, the native bees, and some flowers of the salvias at the back there, just bringing in some bright color and more beauty and more reason for beneficial insects to be in this area. So what diversity, what range of edibility, appropriateness, and it's a bit mixed, and that's what we need. Just like not to have single rows of one kind, but to have these mix of diversity where we don't need to weed so much and gain so much from.
Yeah, and there's even more. So guys, we wanted to give you that little snippet and just give you a little little sneak peek into just some of the stuff that's growing here. And what's great is that the space has so much potential, and and the organisers, coordinators here are very open to new volunteers and new energy coming into the garden. What have we got here?
Got a leaky weir, mate.
Oh, what a beauty!
Let me get in your ear about this leaky weir we got here.
Yeah, guys.
They're the festival rub.
Hey guys, day 3 now. That's not 6, day 3. And our participants are getting an insight into leaky weirs. So as you can see, we're in a bit of a gully here, and because we're in the subtropics, often we can have large rain events. The water can come down and flow through these gullies quite quickly. Now this particular gully's had revegetation happening in previous retreats, and we will talk about that as well, this retreat, but shh, that's later to come. For now, what we've got is a leaky weir, and it is exactly as it sounds. A weir that's designed to hold back water But in this case, it's also designed to leak water through so that it's not preventing the flow of the water, but just holding water in the landscape for longer to keep that moisture in the landscape.
Up in there somewhere, it'll be breaking down into really good soil. So, but just slow the water. I was dropping a lot of this really dense thicket of gums here to try and there's a bunch of white cedars popping up over there. So I was thinning out the gum canopy to let the other things pop up, and ended up bringing the gums I cut down in here, and I sharpened a few of them that were about this tall. I cut points on the end of them and hammered them in about halfway. You can see two there, and this one's actually been pushed over, and I thought I had one up here as well, but maybe I didn't. You build a flat wall on the back and it comes like that, it will actually taper over and cause like a turbulence, like it'll come over the wall, and when it hits the other side it'll waterfall and create a washout. So I did hay bales and smaller things on the other side to give it a more even hump.
It's worthwhile to see people, especially with something as bigger impact as putting in a dam or a swale system, to look at people that are fairly reputable, because you might, everyone's suddenly on YouTube wanting to teach things at the moment after COVID, but it's really worth just getting inspired. I mean, even seeing someone's mistake is still inspirational, because you can go, wow, that's the powerful effect that can happen if you screw up something as big as that. So wow, let's take note of that. Let's bank that into the information system so we can, oh, that's right, we were talking about how serious you have to be about these things, and to do that research. And in permaculture, we often look for that 1 year of checking out the land. I mean, these years we see there's such fluctuation of climate differentiation, where the seasons are different. They're coming earlier, later, more rain, less rain, La Nina, La Nina. It's huge, but you're looking for the baseline, and then you speak to other neighbors and other people around that have that longer information. So farmers around, other like the fire brigade people, the beekeepers, they're your best people to talk to. They're so willing to share, and they're so in it for community and food security, both of those people. If you need to expand out more information because you don't have it yourself personally by experiencing or reading the landscape, it's really worthwhile to drop into your skills more about reading landscape, seeing where water flows. Like, see how we had a lot more water come through there? But is that something that was a surprise to you? Or did you perhaps notice that there's a water body there, and if we had rain, it may come down and flow in that way? So nature can be really surprising, and can sneak up on us.
So what was once degraded cattle country with eroded sides in this gully has been revegetated now, and now being rejuvenated and rehydrated with these sorts of principles and practices.